Hey guys, Solarkneecaps here with another episode of Iron to Platinum, or Platinum, oh my gosh, Iron to Masters. Hopefully we don't get stuck at Platinum. And today we're going to be kind of going over some of the similar things that we've done on some of our previous games. Again, we're going to be talking about the fundamentals, and we're getting to this sort of intermediate stage of like, okay, now we're in gold, we're doing this and the other. I'm actually going to turn the sound down here a little bit. It's feeling just a little loud in my ears. Hopefully that's not too bad. Maybe something like that. And, you know, like I said, we've been kind of like sort of forcing some comps here. And, you know, usually the games that we play fairly flexible have been fairly successful. And, you know, obviously they've released some patch notes recently, which this is currently right before those go live. So, again, here when we're just thinking about, okay, well, what are we going to be playing? We're just going to be talking about what actually is our best board and, you know, how we can transition out of whatever we happen to get. So just keeping some, you know, we got a good pair here. You know, Singe I'm not super crazy about. I'm probably going to pick up TF instead, just because TF is a fantastic early game unit. Oh, we actually have a lot of options here. We have Redemptions. We got maybe a Sunfire Cape. So let's see what we got. Not going to go for Twin Shot. Enforcer Heart with Vi. It's definitely an option that kind of makes me think of either doing like 4 Enforcer with Fiora carry or some sort of Urgot build, just because that's a typical bruiser. But Underdogs is just really, I wouldn't really call it underrated, but is a excellent early game resource. Especially if we're going to be opting for like a, how would you call it, like a Colossus frontline. And it gives us the opportunity to not have to automatically level up to 4 to kind of like have a decent win streak. For now, we'll just put this TF in here. And so again, now we're kind of looking for our strongest board. First, we're going to look to see what Mutant is. Not super interested in it. Don't really care about Protector either. Get some gold, so we'll just buy everything up and we'll figure that out from here. Okay, so again, it's pretty obvious that these two units are our best units. And now, in terms of slamming, we have some very defensive units here. So obviously, this can be used for Guardian Angel, which has been very useful. You know, we have Redemption, which just is kind of a universally good item. So we're going to go ahead. I'm just going to kind of slam it like so. Just, again, defensive items. And I'll pick up the pair. And I think, since we have so much frontline, I kind of just want one backline unit to do damage here. Having like more frontline is just kind of like, okay, well, I already have a really solid frontline. Hopefully they'll be able to tank and let my TF do damage in the back. But of course, you know, Blitzcranks are going to Blitzcrank. But hopefully Redemption is going to keep that alive. And again, just having Underdogs is going to let him heal. But I feel pretty good. I mean, 2-star frontline, it's pretty obvious on like what your quote-unquote best board is. You know, again, like here, I'm just kind of picking up some pairs. And obviously if we can 2-star our units, that's clearly going to be the strongest units. And then whenever you're kind of in between two particular, oh wow, let me think about this for a bit. So obviously we have Poppy pair, we got Ezreal, so I think Ezreal is a bit better than TF, and we can just kind of sit here again. Since we have Underdogs, you know, this is what we can put in afterwards. Though this does give us a scrap shield, but without the, you know, we're not going to actually get any scrap value since we already slammed the chain vest. I think we're just going to kind of stick with something like this. So like I was mentioning, when you're kind of in between two different units on the bench, you know, that we're kind of getting into more slightly advanced, or at least like kind of intermediate, you're just kind of wanting to think of which of the two units has more value. So a Twitch is okay if you're trying to do like a more early game, or like if you're trying to transition into like Assassins, where Camille is just, again, more frontline, which can't be bad. And, you know, the Clockwork Challenger kind of allows us to tech in a lot of different options. So to me, I kind of just interpret that Camille is slightly more valuable than Twitch, so that's why I picked it. But at the end of the day, when you're in these sort of situations where you just kind of have one gold and you have some one unit to buy, just buy something. You don't have to overthink it, but just kind of keep this in mind as we continue to chug along. So, okay, well, this is a fantastic unit because obviously it gives us scrap, it gives us protector. It's pretty obvious. And now we're at 2-3, where again we kind of talk about, okay, are we going to want to level? Do we want to, or do we want to pre-level? Do we want to make 10? Do we want to do both? So I think obviously we want to do a couple things. So some of these singles we don't really care about, and it looks like we can make 10. I don't really, Poppy isn't super, at the end of the day, I'd rather actually keep the Trundle pair over the Poppy, so that's why I'm just going to go ahead and sell the Poppy and pick up the Gate. That way we can make 10, and we can consider whether or not we want to go, how early we want to go level 5. We just have some people kind of jamming out, looking at our board. We're getting some good underdogs value here with Graves, plus the Redemption. A little bit of synergy going on here. That's true, we kind of killed 2 units at once. And as in the background doing some good work, so just pick up a Garen, and go from there. So here again, obviously just anything that we can put on either one of our scrap units to get scrap value would be optimal. Obviously we see a Blitz here, and Belt is not a terrible item. But things like Sword, and we can kind of go into AD or this Glove, and that kind of gives us some flex opportunities, but let's see what we get. Alright, so I'd like to pick up a Glove here, but I'm kind of at the mercy. So for now, I'll just go ahead and I'll pick up this. It looks like we might go into AP Flex, but oh wow, we're getting a lot of good pairs here, so obviously you want to sell this. So there is the idea of like, okay, well, what is really our strongest board here? And just because I can actually level up and still make 10, I feel pretty good about doing this, and I feel like we're going to be able to win streak pretty highly. So let's look at our competition for the most part. So we're going to go ahead and do something like this. Okay, I actually didn't see that the TF had a Quicksilver here, so I wanted to make sure that this pulled, but obviously the TF isn't going to get pulled. And yeah, we went 5, so that's going to kind of counteract our value that we would get from underdogs, but I mean, we just have nothing but 2-star units. So what's nice is that, some games, and then what do we want here? Well, if I'm going to play something AP, maybe Zyra. That's pretty much my thought process there. Is that, okay, yeah, so, we would want to utilize underdogs to maximize our econ and maximize our win streak, but I think going 5 there will do both. So, kind of noted that we got a Zig, so we'll hold on to it, and if we can win, obviously that gives us to do Scrapped 4, which is great, so this should be the only guy we scout for. So you have Singe that's going to flip, and he's going to flip towards the highest density of characters. And then, of course, we also have the Assassins over here. So we're going to want to make sure that we put our sort of tankiest units first. Keep our Ezreal. We're going to check to see if he's going to swap. Looks like no. So I feel pretty good about this. So we just keep our Ezreal away from the Assassins. And we're actually not playing him. We're playing another guy that's pretty strong by the looks of it. But we do pull the MF. I'm be curious to see if we can... he gets 1 cast off and keep it at 1, and I feel pretty good about winning this game. Again, he has a lot of 2-star units, but we just got so many. Oh my gosh. A 5-0. That's brutal. And we got Ziggs, so that gives us a pretty easy transition. So it looks like we're going to be doing 4 scrap into flex AP. And it's that easy. Boom. We're done. That's the amount of thought that we need. It's done. So now we're just going to be focusing on our strongest competition. Oh my god. Janna, that is... Sheesh, that's fucking crazy. So, let's scout to see who we haven't played. Which, okay, we did play number 1. Wow, we're in that situation where we haven't played the worst, this guy, and the best. So we'll definitely only be scouting for the best, because probably the worst we don't have to worry about. I am willing to lose econ for this Janna. I know we talked about how gold in the early game is more important than in the late game, but, I mean, an early game Janna is just... infinite value, and we're hoping to get 3 gold out of one of these boxes, which we do. We don't care about you. Sorry, Ziggs, nothing personal. And we even got a tier for the Janna, which is a really nice scrap value right there. So when you're at a win streak, and typically you want to go 6 at 3-2 or 3-3, but in this particular situation, since I almost kind of want to guarantee the win streak, it's fairly, I feel like it's more vital that we play the Jaina. That gives us 4 scrap, which is huge. Power Spike Jaina already is just a generically good unit. And okay, there, he's really mixing his units around, but I feel fine in this orientation. Okay, and we'll see. And really his only skill unit is that one Twitch, but I feel pretty good. I mean, we got Scrap Shield going on with pretty good value. I mean, again, it's really just that Twitch in the background doing damage. And I think once we start shredding through his front line, huge Janus Shield. Ascension just comes a little bit too late. And yeah, we're just too tanky. Wow, he even slammed items because he knows how important getting that win streak is. And we're just going to kind of grab some generically good units. A little bit of lag there, so no biggie. And just because, obviously, if you don't meet a threshold, you don't need to get it. And so then technically the only player we haven't played yet is the guy in last place. So keeping that in mind, now we don't have to worry about the assassin guy. We'll kind of rearrange our units like so. Since our Graves has redemption, we kind of keep him somewhere in the center so that more units get it. And we're just kind of keeping a general scouting of where units are to the left or to the right. Again, this is the guy that we scouted, and we didn't want TF to be throwing cards throughout the body. We wanted to kind of throw straight so he doesn't hit as many units. So that's why we pushed our guys to the right. And again, we just know that that's kind of the position we should kind of look for, just because we... wow, those slammed items really do a lot of work. It's kind of crazy how close this fight is. Just a TF1 with really good slammed items. We actually are going to lose. Wow. Sheesh. Okay, well. Or I guess if you want to win, just play TF. It's that easy. Okay, so here we have Ascension, which I'm not super convinced about. Ancestral Blessing, which is just generically good. And then we have Scholar Heart, which kind of gives us the opportunity if we do want to play AP Fex, which is looks like what we're going to be doing. That does give us the opportunity to maybe go for Scholar Victor, or... in general, it just allows us to immediately get Scholar, which I think is going to be fairly useful. Plus a little bit extra gold. And we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So we don't need to worry about doing anything. In terms of, we'll just go ahead and we'll lock in a pair. That's all our thought process is. It's a damn shame, but I'll have to keep that in mind. What did I say? Just a really good unit. And then again, we're going to be, looks like the right-hand side is pretty accurate. There is a Blitzcrank here, so we might have to keep that in mind. We might do a little bit of repositioning to make sure that our boy Ezreal doesn't get pulled. And right now, we're just kind of enjoying, we had a nice win streak early, so, we're going to be fairly healthy. Ascension's kicking in, which is going to be pretty strong. Oh wow, what a fucking shield that is. So we're just kind of enjoying our 4 scrap value. We're going to probably just kind of relax. We don't mind lose streaking until neutrals. And just kind of go from there. We don't really have the ability to make much of a stronger board. And rolling right now, when we don't really have anything to stabilize for, is just... we don't really have any like 3-star pairs or anything like that. So... Sword is fine here to go GA. That's pretty much all the thought process I have, and we get it. So we got GA. That's nice. So we have pretty much 2 really good items for either Kaisa or Victor, and that's what we'll be going for this game. Very common trend for us. So here, obviously, we know we are going to make GA, but I'm definitely not going to be playing a good handful of these units in the future, so we're just going to put it on Trundle for maximum scrap value. And again, since we kind of know we're going to be playing AP Fex, we'll just pick up the Mouths and level, hold on to it. If you want, I don't know, maybe a Clockwork. You don't have to think about it hard. But just kind of picking up generic, what is these things called? Arcanist, just so that we... have an item holder when we eventually pivot, just in case. Alright, clearly Zig's not as strong as TF. Man, TF is such a crazy unit. My gosh. But, you know, that's just a good lesson, is that if you see a TF, you pick a TF. It's definitely going to do you well in the early game. So here, just going to see where... Okay, it's right dab in the middle, which isn't super great for Victor, but it can be alright for Kaisa, and can also just be fine for if you have kind of like a secondary Terry, or if you have like a Scion solo front line, so that way the Scion is just a little bit, does a little bit more damage. And could also mean that we don't need to go super hard into the socialite sort of branch, like maybe we can opt for something else. So, we'll see. Alright, well, this is... Okay, well, another really strong TF, so we'll see if we're able to actually do anything to this. We haven't gotten that much stronger since we faced the last one. Getting a lot of healing. A lot of shielding. But so are they. Okay, we're killing a handful of units, but looks like it's just going to be a good loss, which is fine. Because again, you know, we had a good early game. So we're able to kind of sponge a little bit of this damage, and we don't really have any reason to panic. Obviously, Lux is definitely not a unit. Lux isn't super popular right now. I mean, we do see that we're going to be contested fairly heavily by this fellow, but we'll see if we go for that. Yeah, I mean, you know, in terms of what we can learn from this game, I think it's just kind of thinking about those things we were talking about during, you know, stage 1, stage 2, and kind of accepting that we kind of already did all the, you know, thought-intensive work until maybe we get to... Oh, wow, we got a whole lot of items there. Yeah, we actually have some really good Kais items, so I'm going to go ahead and I'm just going to opt to play a Tarek here, or do something like this. And now we're going to let Ez kind of be a bit of an item holder. So what is our second item going to be? We're going to opt for Jeweled Gauntlet, I believe. We'll do Jeweled Gauntlet and Titans. No, we'll do something like that. Just get maximum scrap value. Although I just realized that we have 3 already miscounted. That's a fine. No big deal. And it's going to be kind of a tough pivot to go into Lux, and I'm not super impressed with her currently, so we're just gonna let that go. And in terms of, you know, why we play Tarek, you know, obviously getting a little bit of Socialite buff is nice, just so that our Trundle 2 does a little extra damage, and the Enchanter is just always nice. It's very kind of like an unseen value there. And again, we're just kind of holding on to mouths just in case. It's really like a super backup. Though obviously we'd prefer not to play it. And it looks like we're going to kind of just coast until, again, like our thought process is pretty much done here. Is that we're pretty much just going to coast until we hit neutrals and then go 8 and find the board that we want. So we're just going to look for Blitzcranks. Go ahead and put some corner bait. So that way if a Blitzcrank is kind of here in the middle, it'll actually pull to hit Arteric. And wow, it looks like there's a couple of Lux players. That's interesting, actually. So we're definitely not going to be going Lux this game and opting for Victor or Kaisa. We're pretty primed and ready for either. So I think I just actually got rid of my GA now that I'm actually thinking with my brain cells. Yeah, I don't think I have GA now, but that's okay. No big deal. Oh yeah, I accidentally put the armor on. These things happen. And so again, Mouse is kind of not even close to being a close idea. But I feel confident we can probably get an armor on the next carousel, honestly. Yeah, in the meantime, we're just vibing. You know, even if we kind of win, lose. We're keeping basic and seeing like left or right just by kind of vaguely looking at the different compositions. I just saw someone was going for reroll. Again, here's our kind of bait here. That MF is definitely going to be doing a lot of damage. This guy's front line is very, very good. Plus he has Janna as well, so that's going to give a lot of shielding. Just as much as ours, but he's obviously has Morello, so it can be a bit of a fat chance in terms of getting a full amount of healing. Doesn't have Ascension, which is nice, but man, we are struggling. Oh my gosh, that stun in overtime was awful. Wow. Again, you know, we're perfectly healthy. Nothing to worry about here. Here's a victor that we definitely won't get, but, you know, talent isn't super contested, so a chance we can right our wrongs and get an armor. You do also have a rod, so, I mean, that Galio is obviously a fantastic pickup for us. Yeah, why not? We'll go for the armor. That way we can build Morellos, and that is also a crap ton of gold. I mean, 5 gold is just ridiculous. It's going to help us go 8 even sooner. And we're just going to go ahead and build Morellos. So we have a couple of options here. So if we want to go Victor, we have like Shojin. If we're going Kaisa, you know, obviously we can still opt for GA or something else. Not super worried. Again, that was the only Blitzcrank that I scouted. But again, we're going to keep the corner bait over there to the left, just in case. Oh, there's that guy that picked a Victor. He is definitely happy about that. Victor 1, not super scary this patch, but definitely, I mean, at 4 or 5, this is going to hurt. Whew. Alright, but we'll see. You never know. Oh. Yeah, Ascension. Oh my gosh. Look at that! Boom. Jadif. Let's go. Let's go. Gain a Scholar Emblem and a Heimerdinger. So that does give us the option to play 4 Scholar anything. Protector Crest, I'm not super interested. Makeshift really doesn't appeal to me. So alright, looks like we're going to go some sort of... maybe some sort of 4 Scholar nonsense. And we'll just put that on the turret for now. And, yeah, we can roll 1. I don't really want to roll to 0 right now since we're about to hit Raptors, so... we're going to see, again, we're going to do a little bit of scouting. Want to be on the left or on the right. Okay, I'm glad we just fought that guy. Oh, Yasuo, that's... okay, or Yone or whatever. Okay, so we have some Assassins, the Syndicates, that's on the left. Blitzcrank, okay, so I feel pretty good about this particular positioning. And looks like we're pretty primed and ready to play pretty much any 5 cost. We can even do Tom Kench carry here. If we wanted to. I mean, we're still running our 1 cost 2 stars, so we have a lot of room for upgrades, that's for sure. Well, Azrael, it was nice knowing you. Oh, never mind. You know, this TF is literally doing nothing but hitting our carry, but it's okay. Again, good losses, good losses. 4 unit loss here is perfectly fine, though. That guy is definitely doing pretty stable. So, oh, okay. So there's Tom Kench. Scion is definitely something we're interested in for frontline. So we can definitely play some sort of interesting, like, Tom Kench carry with Scholar. I mean, we have some pretty good items here. We're going to be rolling down to 0 after neutrals anyway, just to make a comp. Which again, we'll probably have to kind of focus up. And that's really... it's going to be interesting when eventually we're just going to have to talk about, you know, what are we, you know, what you should look for when you do your roll downs. But anyway, let me just go ahead and do a little bit of rolling here. Alright. No. Okay, I mean, maybe. No. So we're going to say no to you for now. Don't care about Mundo. We're just going to keep rolling. Jhin, don't really have the ability to play Jhin. Wow, Braum really wants to show up. So we're going to kind of get rid of this and this. Play this. My god. That's alright. This is going to be a bit of a brutal loss, but we'll be alright. I'm kind of keeping in mind that it looks like Blitzcrank here is a pretty good pickup. Just with all the Luxes in play. But I don't think that'll last for long. Alright, so we need to kind of actually pivot into something good, so let's try to make something good here. Get rid of you, get rid of you. He wants an entree, but I don't know if I can provide that, my friend. Okay, we're just going to keep rolling. We can actually play Jhin. It's kind of crazy. I'm just going to keep rolling just so I can try to not be dizzy. Okay. So, okay, that's definitely something. Oh, we got an item. That's pretty cool. Oh, that's a Yone 3. Oh. Oh, I see now. Okay, well, we definitely want... Okay. I feel like we're going to be able to stabilize here now. So we're going to do something like this, 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 this. And we're going to do something like... Okay, can we... Oh, that's... Oh! Oh wow, our Jin's gonna get fucking pulled. That's what I get for not scouting. No. Okay, well, I need to make sure I put corner bait for the next time. I'm at 14th health, so in theory I shouldn't die. I would hope I wouldn't die, but I just might die. My gosh, they're so low. There's so many units. I believe in you, Scion. Okay. Yeah, we should be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 at 14. Oh, that killed us. Oh. Well, if that's a lesson in stabilization, I don't know what is. But, oh my goodness. So there's definitely a lot to review in that game. Clearly we didn't do a great job of stabilizing, and we were kind of looking for a lot of different units, and, you know, probably should have just rolled down before neutrals in terms of actually looking at our board state. Did we get a little unlucky? Maybe. And kind of this last second thing into Jhin and the fact that he got pulled. It's just kind of one of those things. But, you know, it's really easy to get dizzy on 8 when you're kind of doing these big roll downs. And if it's not something that you practice into or you really get used to, then, I mean, things like this is going to happen all the time where you have a fairly good board and just randomly you just kind of die, even though you thought you were strong, you were Mr. 100, and then you just kept losing and your board wasn't strong enough. So it's really important to make sure that you constantly monitor to see how strong your board is. And, you know, we opted to be a little greedy and try to roll down at a different time, but that probably goes to show that it's important you don't have to always roll down to 0. So probably the option there is instead rolling down to, you know, something in the mid 30s and hitting neutral and then going from there. Or at least kind of itemizing your front line, or at least leveling up your front line instead of just having some 1-stars. So, I mean, that's the game for the day. And obviously, like I mentioned, none of these are going to be, you know, we're not planning on winning every single game. And, you know, bot 4s are just part of the whole sphere. You know, we talked about like 2 episodes ago about making sure that you don't tilt. And again, we're not going to be, you know, worried about these sorts of things. It's all part of the grind, and you're just going to find, even as you go up, these random just sort of bumps in the road that you're just like, I don't know why I just can't get through this part. And, you know, like I said, these sorts of things happen, but you just kind of want to do a mental reset. Sometimes I even just kind of slap yourself around a little bit, whatever you need to do to kind of get your head in the right headspace to just perform next game. So that's the game. Go ahead and, you know, follow me on Twitch and watch me climb Masters. Yep, that's right. This is a Masters player losing in getting 7th in gold 3 elo, but it's just kind of the roll of the dice sometimes. And of course, obviously our MMR is kind of off the chain, so who knows what these actual players are playing at. But there's no excuses there. I mean, again, it's just sort of a little bit of luck, a little bit of fun, a little bit of hope, a little bit of skill. So again, you can't be mad at it. We were following the fundamentals early in the game, and I think we were making some very good decisions early. So I think in the next couple of episodes, we're going to be talking about more in the late game. So I'm probably not going to be talking and discussing too much during that phase. And then when we kind of get to level 7, level 8, maybe talking about stabilization, this is probably around the time where we need to start going over that, rather than me focusing so much on the sort of early game fundamentals. Since again, when you're at gold 3, we're peeking our way over at platinum, and really when you get to that platinum diamond is when you need to start. These sort of fundamental things should just be second nature, that you don't even need to discuss it. But anyway, go ahead and follow me on Twitch. I stream 4 to 2 times a week once things really get going, and you can watch me play chess, watch me play Minecraft. Link is obviously also in the description. But yeah, so thank you for watching. Like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell, all that good stuff. I'll see y'all in the next episode.